So the next feature I want to build out for Happy is welcome emails. So whenever someone goes through the sign up form, we want to just send them an email kind of telling them the next steps to get the most out of their account. So I have already created some content for this, and I'm just going to go through and show how to do this in Rails and how to write tests for it. So the first thing I'm going to do here, I already have some mailers set up. So we already send emails. We have a team mailer, which I think is where we're going to put this new welcome email. So we have, whenever a customer sends an email into Happy, we get a new message, and that sends out to the team and just gives you an alert to log into Happy and check it. And then we have verified, which is whenever your account's been verified and set up to use, that'll send out. So we're just going to set up a new mailer for welcome. So we should be able to generate that with Rails. So we'll do bin Rails g mailer team welcome, and hopefully that'll set up what we need. Okay, so maybe we'll have to set this up manually then. So we can go in here and just do def welcome, and we'll take a team, and then we'll just copy across how we pick these emails out. So team equals team, and we're just plucking all the users of the team's email addresses to send them it. And we'll go in and set up the subject. So we've got mailers.en.yaml, and we can go in here and type welcome and set a subject, and we can say welcome aboard and the team name. And the next thing I want to do is set up a test for this. So I have a little VS Code shortcut. You can just press Command and period, and that'll take you to the associated test. So we can go in here and create a new test for welcome, and then we'll just copy across this stuff from new message and just customize it a bit. So we won't need a message, we will need a team however, so we can go in and say welcome, pass in the team, and then where it says it renders the headers, so we want to check our subject here, and we can say welcome aboard pay here, and that should match for our email addresses. And then the body, we'll just leave that empty. In fact, we'll just not run that for now. So let's just go ahead and run. It seems my Loom recorder is interfering with the button I use for my RSpec test, so we'll just have to do this manually. So bin RSpec spec mailers team, and then we'll say line 9. So we get a failure, and we have a missing template for welcome, so we can go ahead and create that. So we'll just say touch app views team mailer welcome.html.erb and run that test again. And it passes, which is good. Now we'll just do an assertion on the content. So if I load up the content here, we'll just check that it prints out "thanks for signing up." And if we run this, we'll just run the full suite here. So we get one failure, and that is that it won't have the "thanks for signing up" message because this template we created was empty. So yeah, it doesn't include "thanks for signing up." So we can go ahead and fix that. And the next thing that I like to do is look at the mailer previews so we can design this email up in the browser. So we can go to spec mailers preview, team preview, and add in def welcome team mailer dot welcome, and we can just say team dot first. And before we run this test again, everything should be good to go here. It's just a case of getting this welcome template right. And what we can actually do here is go into the browser and go to /reels/mailers. Oh, I'm trying to do that on production. Localhost Reels mailers, and then go into welcome. And you can see it's rendering a nice email template. It just doesn't have any content yet. So I'm just going to grab all of our content here, copy that, and go into welcome, paste that in, and hit save. And we should be able to reload. So it's a little bit of a mess. We'll tidy that up. But that should actually be enough to pass our test here. So let's try that. Okay, great. So that's the tests passing. Now let's just tidy up some of this. So we're going to need the user's name, and that's not currently in the email. So let's check and see what we can do here. So team mailer. I think what we're going to need to do here is just map over the users. So if we do team.users dot find each, and then email is going to be just user.email, and we can change that, and that should hopefully give us what we want. And we can then also assign an instance variable for @user, which will let us do our user.firstname in here. So let's try this out. And we'll put this in an H1. And let's do wrap in H2, wrap in paragraph, wrap in a paragraph, and let's put a line break in here. And let's see if this is working. Okay. So we have to just link up these two links, and other than that, everything's looking good. And yeah, we can use Rails for this. So let's do link to set up a custom email address, and that is docs. So there should be you should be able to then run bin Rails routes rep for documentation, and we have documentation custom email address. So we just need to tag underscore URL onto the end of that. And we'll do the same thing for embed. Link to. And we'll go back to documentation widget installation. And again, just underscore URL onto the end of that. So let's see if these worked. And that all looks good. So let's just check the test is still passing. And it is, and we'll run Rubocop to make sure all the style is done correctly. And I'll just run the entire test suite to make sure we haven't inadvertently broken something else. Okay, so everything's working. What I'm going to do now is just commit these changes. So we'll just add all of these and git commit and give it a message saying create welcome email template. Now the next thing that we need to do is actually send these emails when a team is created. So if I go into teams controller even, and we have a create method here for teams. So what we can do in here then is insert welcome email. But we'll first want to just create a test and make sure this works. So we'll go into our tests and try and find the associated test. So we've got teams request spec, and we've got describe post. It creates a new team, defaults planned free trial. And we're just going to update this test here and basically assert that it delivers an email. So we've already got one email going out, which is an admin alert to say a new team needs reviewed, which will go to me and I'll be able to review that team. So what we're going to want to change here is just delivered email size and set that to 2. And we'll just check the order of these. So we send admin mailer here. We probably want to send the welcome email first. So we can leave this as last email.subject, and instead we can go in and do expect delivered emails.first.subject to equal, and we can find our subject. So welcome aboard team, and we've created a team with the name Polywork here. So let's just paste this in and type Polywork, and let's run this. And line 17. And we get a failure because we only sent one email. So let's go back in here and make this pass. And we'll say team mailer welcome at team.deliver later. And then let's run our test again. And it works. So let's just go down to the next test and see, is that asserting emails? And it's not, which is fine. So we'll just run Robocop again and RSpec again. And that's all working. Okay, so let's just commit our changes then. So we can do git commit and say send welcome email when teams are created. And we can push those changes up. This will now go through to GitHub and run on GitHub Actions, and it'll just run those tests and Robocop again. And once that all runs through, then it will auto deploy to Heroku and go live. So the workflow here is just basically write the tests, trust that they're actually testing that things work, and put stuff in production. And at least it's quite a fast workflow, so if you do screw something up, you can always fix it pretty quickly too. So hopefully that was useful, seeing some of my workflow for adding an email. I know it's a pretty boring task, but I'm hopefully going to share more about building Happi and get stuck into building more meaty features soon.